Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome. This is a special broadcast tonight. Um, and so thank you for spending your Wednesday with us. Um, Tonight is an exercise in transparency. We endeavor to show the leaders in this country what they should do, how they should treat the Bahamian people, how they should be open and transparent and accountable. And so, just like I'm doing this tonight, moving forward, we expect all leaders to be accountable to the Bahamian people. We challenge all supporters of all parties to tell your leaders to be able to sit down and answer the people's question, bring them up to date, let them know what's going on. That's the purpose of this exercise. We're going to lead by example, since we feel that we're leading into the new Bahamas. And so tonight, I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to talk about this matter that has been going on for quite some time now, but it only surfaces when it's election time. We're going to have a discussion about this. There are some people who are just hearing about this for the first time. And so we're going to actually touch back and show you some of the documents and let you know where we are. We'll start with where we are now, and then we'll take you back a little bit. We'll take you way back. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open up the phone lines to you so that and that's when we're done, we're going to open the phone lines to you so that anyone who wants to call, who has questions, who wants clarity, anyone in the Bahamas, anyone who has interest in the Bahamas, anyone of our diaspora can call in and ask questions. In fact, tonight, we're doing something for the fifth time, and that is on 5 different occasions we've told people to call in if you know anything negative about me. I said negative. It doesn't have to be illegal, just negative. Whatever it is, you can call in and you can expose it live because we believe that our leaders should be accountable. We should not be afraid to face the people. I'm not afraid to face the people because I am the people and I want to represent the people in a manner that is accountable. We want to empower the people, and so we should always answer to them. And so Philip Brave Davis, moving forward, this is what I expect of you. Michael C. Pintard, moving forward, this is what I expect of you, not brushing them off. And lastly, once we're done, since they decided to open the floodgates, we're going to open the floodgates. So we're going to have some conversations about Philip Brave Davis. Michael C. Pintard, you get the night off. I think the PLP felt that I was talking about the F&M too much, and so they wanted to get in the fray. They felt left out. And so today, we go into some documents. Since the PLP wants to come for someone who has nothing to lose, then that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to accept them and come back for them. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we should have a country of accountability. I've been doing this for more than 2 decades, and I've never dealt with persons' personal lives. I don't care about your personal life. I always say that. I don't care about your personal life. I don't care about your personal business. I care about your public record and what you are doing with the public, what you are doing with the public funds, on your public time. That's what I care about, and that's what we all should care about. And since persons are so concerned, especially the PLP, about this matter, I want to assure you that Pay the Woman, the title of this, is not about me. Stay tuned. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open the phone lines after that, and you're going to be able to call in and state your case, say what you have to say. But I'm going to take it back, being open and transparent. First of all, I want to say that this culminates, into one of the most painful periods of my life. I have been in business a long time. From my early 20s, God has blessed me, and I was able to do some good business. I'm in business with ingenuity, and been able to get other young entrepreneurs involved, get them to be shareholders. Sometimes we gave them shares for free, for their sweat equity. And sometimes they put up a small amount. And we went into big business. It was a happy time, and it was a time when we were doing extremely well and traveling the world and opening businesses in other countries. But then I did something that eventually affected all of us. I decided to start fighting for the Bahamian people and advocating for them. In this country, we know that when you speak out, you get attacked. And I did it nonetheless. And so some people around me were hurt because of their association with me. Some people lost their investments because I was fighting for the Bahamian people. Whenever you stand out and fight, they come for you. They'll destroy your business. And they did that on several occasions. But they could never stop us. No matter how much they tried, we bounced back, bigger and better. But this company that we're talking about is a shoe store that some young people decided to get together and open while I was in law school. Yes, I was in law school while the shoe store was open. I wasn't technically running it. I was the biggest shareholder. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars opening this, and it was amazing. It was a great accomplishment. It was one of the biggest shoe stores in the entire region. And we had self-service, which was innovative for the Bahamas. When you go to the U.S., all of the shoe stores are self-service, DSW, Payless, and everything else. But here, you always had to wait for customer service, et cetera. And so we decided to have ingenuity, and we decided to do it the way they do it in the U.S. And it was fabulous, and it was successful, and it was crowded beyond belief, and we did extremely well. It was instantly a very profitable business. There were young persons who invested in this, as I said, and the latest one who came on board invested about $40,000. And that's into doing business in the business. And shortly after that, the business burned down. A lot of young people were hurt. A lot of young people lost. And I'm saying young people over and over because, particularly the PLP put out this false narrative that there was some old lady involved. None of us was old. And the lady in question was only 2 years older than me. I'm going to show you that tonight. So I don't know why they keep repeating this narrative that there was some little old lady. She was literally 2 years older than me. To this day, she's still not old. I'm in my 40s. And we lost. And so people who decide to stand up and take a stand, their family sometimes takes a hit, and the people around them sometimes take a hit. And that really hurt me for those young people. All I had to do was mind my own business and stay out of politics. And, well, I wasn't into politics at that time. Stay out of activism and just make money. And we would not be here having this conversation today. I was fighting for the people of Pinewood whose houses were being broken down, and I received threats that they were going to attack my business, and they were going to attack the radio station that I was a talk show host on. Both that radio station was, I feel, attacked and ended up being shut down. And this shoe store was burnt down. It's clear that it was arson. We found the devices that they used to start it. Everything was right there, but it ran away. It hurt my heart that I lost about $800,000. That person lost about $40,000. Someone else lost $25,000. Someone else lost $20,000, I think. Another person's got shares for free because they were managing and putting in the work. That's been the hardest part of being an activist. And when you attack, people make fun of you. They say, oh, he couldn't keep a business open, but they don't know what's really going on. In Pinewood and Linden Pendleton Estates, there were little old ladies who were losing their houses. And there were people who were losing their life savings. And I decided to fight for them, and I believe I was victimized because of that. But I would do it again. At some point, a couple of the young people around me asked me to, just leave activism alone. Let's make money. Let's make money, enjoy our lives. We were in our 20s and early 30s eventually. And I said, no, I can't see people being victimized by government or powerful people and not do nothing. Who's going to fight for them? But there's consequences. After the shoe store burned down, one lady, the lady whose name everyone keeps calling Ms. Roll, decided to sue me personally. No one else, just me. Not the other shareholders, just me. And no other shareholder decided to sue me, and none of the investors. It was a department store, so there were persons who had, who sold stuff from in the store. So there was someone who sold perfume, bright young man. It really hurt me that, he lost to this day. He's still a strong supporter of me and of the COI, but it really hurt me that he took that loss, trying to, get himself together. It pained me. There was someone who was selling lingerie, and there was Miss Mitzi Turnquest, who was selling clothing in the store. And probably a couple other things in there. It was a department store. And so only this lady decided to sue. And she decided to sue me personally. And she decided that based on an agreement that she would go after me personally. I'll get into all of that in a minute. I'm going to be open and transparent and open the phone lines for whoever has any questions or any other matter that may be of importance. And so, again, you can see that this really pains me because it's a tough decision. I had a conversation with an entrepreneur before, and his name was Norman Solomon. I got to know him being a police officer downtown. And he told me, it was interesting because he was also an activist, but he told me that if he did not get involved in politics, that he would have been a multi-billionaire. But he said politics kept him back. I started to understand what he was saying because they come after you. And so I had to choose for my life to make a sacrifice and fight for the Bahamian people when I can because no one else would have the courage to do so, and depend on God to protect me and to constantly multiply the works of my hand. Or I could just mind my own business. There are a lot of people who were glad I didn't, over the years, that I didn't mind my own business. And I would fight for all of them again, even if they wouldn't fight for me. My life has not been my own all of my adult life. It's been about giving service to other people and fighting for other people when no one else would stand up for them. My life has been an open book in the media constantly, and so you know what it is. Of course, when you're fighting powerful people, they start to scandalize you and tarnish your name. That's all a part of it. Recently, the Privy Council made a decision that they were not taking this case. It had gone to the Supreme Court. A decision was made. It went to the appeals court. A decision was made. She won a part, and I won a part. A part of her thing was thrown out, and a part of my thing was kind of thrown out. We both won a part of it. And so they had to determine what percentage would go to her and what percentage would go to me. It went then to the Privy Council. The Privy Council looked at the case and they decided that this should have been dealt with in the lower courts and that they were not taking it. So there are persons out there saying that I lost in the Privy Council. I did not. The Privy Council decided not to take this case, not to hear this case, to let it go back to the Bahamas. And so we were left stuck back with the appeals court, which didn't address some of the issues, but I have nowhere else to go. I'll openly explain all of that. After the Privy Council decision, there are some people who are saying, oh, just pay the woman, pay the woman, pay the woman. It doesn't necessarily work like that, to my understanding. After the case is finished, then the lawyers negotiate. The lawyers are supposed to negotiate to figure out who gets what. You don't just say, oh, well, she was suing for 40, give her the 40 and work out the rest later. No, you do everything properly in one time. And so I instructed my lawyer immediately to go and settle. Figure out what it is, come to an agreement, and deal with it. And she did that immediately, as promised. The lawyers were negotiating back and forth, I'm told. And what happens is the lawyer for the other side would send their costs. They would say, $300 for receiving an email, another $150 for reading the email, another $300 for responding to the email, etc. That's the kind of things we see, not with the exact numbers. Going to deliver something here, having this meeting here. They would put all these stuff together and then send you a bill, itemized bill for each thing. And then the other lawyer would have to go through it and say, no, this is ridiculous. You can't charge this amount for receiving an email. You can't charge this for that. And they would go through it, and that's what happens. They call it tax if not agreed. That's what's normally in decisions, in judgments, tax if not agreed. And so to get the agreement, that's the negotiation. So, for example, you saw how long ago Sarkis Ismailin won the case for Bahama. But look how long they were in negotiations, all right? It was a very long time before they came to a settlement. And so that's my understanding of what would happen here. And so they went back and forth, and my lawyer came to me, and I said, listen, I'm not interested in the back and forth. Let's just settle at a number. Let's just take it to a higher number that everyone can agree on. And I gave the number of $90,000. So some people are asking, how did it get to $90,000? We decided that we would go to $90,000, and they agreed. Well, they were a little bit above that, and it came down to it. Sorry about that. And they agreed to it. My lawyer and the other lawyer was talking, so there are some people saying, well, why would he demand a driver's license, etc.? I did not, all right? I did not demand proof of life. My lawyer was dealing with the negotiations, and she felt that since no one has seen this woman since she testified in the Supreme Court, after that, she did not come back. And we feel if someone owes you money that, you would show up to court every time. I know I would. And I showed up to court every time for this, every time. And she was not there. So that's Supreme Court. After she had testified, that's the Court of Appeals. We did not see her. The Privy Council, we did not see her. She was not there, did not show up. And so we did not see her at all. And this is from 2017 to now. And so I think it was only fair for my lawyer to say, we want to see proof of life. And there's some people saying that, oh, but even if she isn't alive, you have to give it to an next of kin. No, the reason my lawyer made that suggestion is because we need to show that it is the client pushing this case forward and not the lawyers, because we believe that this whole thing was politically motivated. I'll get to that. And so So in order to show that it was the client pushing this forward, we didn't say bring the client. We just said give us a valid ID, and that's it. And I don't think it should be a problem for anyone who is receiving money to have a problem to show money. I don't see why that would be, sorry, to show ID. Sorry, I don't know why that would be a problem to show ID, because what happens is when you file a lawsuit, they don't ask you for your ID. I could file a lawsuit right now and say I'm John Doe, and I'm suing someone, and then in the end, they that wasn't really me. And so I don't see why there's a problem to say produce an ID so we could deal with how we're going to settle this matter. And so that was the reason. After my lawyer, they settled on an amount. My lawyer asked an ID. She said to me that she couldn't catch up with the other side. This thing was dragged on, not because of us. It was dragged on, and it got to where it is now. Personally, I feel like it was dragged on to wait for election to get closer. It's just my opinion. And so that takes us to where we are now. All right? I was never served with anything. To this day, I have not been served with anything. I'm just hearing people talking about this. I have not seen anything in the papers. I don't buy the Tribune. I will not assist the Tribune, that is a political paper and troll with their own agenda. I will not assist them with giving them money. And so I have not seen this in the papers. I don't buy the Tribune, all right? Nor do I buy the Guardian. I prefer, when I look at them, to look at them online somewhere. I'm not going to be paying for those two papers that I use for political purposes. That's just my stance. I'm not telling anyone to take that stance. That's my stance. And so that's why we are here, all right? And so I want to go back to the beginning of this, all right? I want to take you back to the beginning. There's some people who are supporting us, and they want to know that I'm doing the right thing, all right? Firstly, I will say that this is a civil matter. This is not a criminal matter. She did not accuse me of stealing anything. I did not accuse her of stealing anything. This is not a criminal matter. It's a civil matter where persons invested in the business burned down, and we're trying to decide who is liable. No one was found guilty. You can only be found guilty in a criminal case. It's who is liable, and that person has to pay. And so that's where we are, and that's what this is. This case has been intriguing in that it seems like everyone who has touched or come near to this case is either deceased, ill, or in jail, or, well, before the courts. I feel like in this case, I was wrong. I feel like I was swindled. Doesn't matter. I won't be the first person, and I have to do what I have to do, the right thing. I'm sorry to all of the shareholders who partnered with me who lost because I decided to fight for the Bahamian people. But the first lawyer of Ms. Roll that she was dealing with, Willie Moss, died. The first lawyer that I was dealing with, well, the company, not me, that was dealing with this, died. Dwayne Hanna. The lawyer that was representing me in the Supreme Court died. That's Don Sanders. the first lawyer with the lawsuit part of it for Ms. Roll was Ramona Farquharson. She recently died. Lanisha Roll, we feel was also behind this, was jailed for fraudulent charges. A person who testified that they did my signature has terminal cancer. And so it only leaves myself and Ms. Roll. It's an interesting case. I'll take you back. I'll take you to the documents. So, activism is not easy. I know we make it look easy, but it's not easy. There's a lot of consequences, and there's a lot of collateral damage. Nothing I say today is to justify anything. I'm just being open and transparent. I'm not saying this to convince you one way or another with this case, whether I should pay, whether I shouldn't pay, who was right, who was wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm just being transparent because people are asking me about this and I'm a public figure. This has been the most publicized case in Bahamian history. The most publicized case. Even while it was before the courts, people were using this like a political football against the law. That was breaking the law. I never had anyone charged because I believe in freedom of speech and transparency. All of those trolls who were talking about this case while it was before the courts could have been put before the courts. But I believe in transparency and accountability. So I'm only talking about this now because I'm a public figure and I have a right to defend myself. And I have a duty to let the people who are supporting me see for themselves. Okay? And so I'll start with the emails. Let's go to the emails. Can you see my screen? You can pull up my screen. Let's go here. Can you see my screen? Is it on the screen? Okay, perfect. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is my live Hotmail account. This is live, all right? So this is not any screenshots. This is, as you can see, I'm moving it. This is my live Hotmail account. I never deleted these messages, okay? And so I wanted you to see these messages for yourselves. The first meeting I had with this lady, not meeting, but the first interaction was an email that she sent. All right? It was an email that she sent to me. And so this was April 14th that she sent me an email. She said, "Let me first take this opportunity to encourage you for the difference you have made in my life and that of the Bahamian people that have the courage to free themselves from the grips of this political circus by the information that you continue to supply. Keep it up, and remember, the least you do to these, my brothers, you do to me. At this time, I was a radio talk show host. I used to fight for people a lot. I fought for Bahamians. I educated Bahamian people on the radio, taught them the Constitution. I gained powerful enemies because of that. They didn't want me teaching you all your rights. And I would fight for the Bahamian people. And she was acknowledging that. And so this is to show you that I've been doing this for a very long time. This was in 2010. And so this is my first encounter with her. I did not know this woman. I've only seen her twice in my life. If she walks in this room right now, I would not recognize her. She could walk past me today and I would not recognize her. I saw her once when we met, when she wanted to do this deal, which I rejected. I'll show you. And I saw her again in court when she testified. After that, I didn't see her. All right? So I cannot remember now how many times she came there, but I would have seen her twice that I remember. All right? It says, I do not know if you charge a fee, but I know I need some financial advice. You see, I am a stay-at-home mom and a single parent. I know that you are wondering, how can this be? And let me give you a basic update of my life at this point. I worked for Royal Bank for 8 years. And so when I show you the rest of this, I want you to pay attention. This was not a regular Bahamian. This was a banker. In fact, her email is Pretty Banker. Let me click on that and see if it pulls up her email. On your screen, where is it? I'm looking for her email. Yeah, as you can see right there, it says prettybanker@hotmail.com. She was a banker. It was a young person, all right? Same age as me, just 2 years difference. And so, well, she wanted to say that she's a banker. She came into some money, and she wanted me to give her some advice on what to do and that kind of stuff. She wanted to make money, not sleep, et cetera, right? So I won't read the whole thing. Next, I replied to her. Let me see if I can see the date. I replied to her, and she emailed me at around 4. I replied to her after 9. And I said, hello, Zinnia. It would be a pleasure to assist you. I do not charge. Call me. That was my number, so we can arrange a time to meet. And that's when the time that we met. And so I didn't charge for anything. It was my form of giving back. I advised a lot of entrepreneurs. I advised lawyers. I fought for people. I never charged them a thing, ever. I fought for the Sea Hauler victims, got them $1 million, and told them to keep their money and go live their best life. I didn't charge for anything you saw me doing. I was fighting for the people, and I was not interested in politics. I was not a politician. This was 2010. I didn't run until 2017. And that's when this came up out of the blue. But that's it. Now, I'm sorry, I keep changing the ratio. All right, so the next email, and there's a reason I'm going to read this email to you, and that's because in the courts, she claimed to have made an agreement with me, I'll show you the document after, on the 20th of April, all right, and the 23rd of April, same document. But I'm showing you the emails first because I want you to think about this. If you made an agreement and gave someone $36,000 on the 20th or 23rd of April, and you can't catch up with them a few days later, I think you would mention that in your email. I think that would be a serious problem. Also, they made a claim in court that on the 4th of May, that's when I signed an agreement with her, with my signature on it on the 4th of May. All right? So remember that now. April 20th and 23rd, I did some agreement with her, according to them, to take this $36,000. And on the 4th of May, I did some other agreement on the 4th of May. Now watch this. I'm sorry. She said, I understand that you are very busy at this time trying to get your show on the road. I need some time with you to see how I can start moving forward with something. Feeling like I am continuing to go in this circle that I want to break. This unproductive feeling is overwhelming. Do not mean to bombard you with my problem. I cannot seem to get you on that number anymore. Always an answering machine. After I spoke to her, the things she was saying did not seem to work out. She had this story about, she said she was dying of lupus. Her husband was spending all the money. She wanted to leave something for children. It turns out when the conversation continued, it wasn't a husband, it was a boyfriend. And when I started to see things start lining up, I just cut that, and I did not have a further conversation. But here, you can see where she is saying that she couldn't catch up with me, that she wants to move forward with something. So how are you saying that on April 28th and 23rd, you signed an agreement and gave me $36,000, but here on May 3rd, you are saying, I need some time with you to see how I can start moving forward with something? I think that's clear as day, that we didn't do anything. But the document that was presented to court, even though they were not original documents, they were copies, says that you gave me $36,000 on April 20th. I'm going to show you that from the judgment. So obviously that could not have happened based on this email. Because if I give you money on the 28th or 23rd of April, and by May 3rd you disappear and I can't find you, I can mention that somewhere in that email. That never happened. All right? I'm showing you the receipts, the documents that the court saw. So I'll go to the next email. So that's the 3rd of May. She said we signed this agreement on the 4th of May. We signed an agreement on the 4th of May. But watch here, that's the 3rd. She couldn't catch up with me. Now watch the 5th. The 4th was in between. Now watch the 5th. All right? And it says, I have been trying to reach you all day, but to no avail. The only conclusion I can come to is that you have blocked my text messages and my calls, or when you see my number, you just do not answer anymore. For some reason, I cannot get in contact with you anymore. Even if you are busy, you can call back when you have a free minute or shoot a text to state otherwise. If you have changed your mind about helping me, or I am clustering you, please let me know. You see, I'm at the end of my rope, and I need the information and the procedure for getting set up with the opportunity you afforded me, if that is still open to me. I do not want any fish from you, but I want to be taught how to fish. Yeah, I understand you may not have the time right now. Just tell me then I know that you are not an option for help. And then I can try to seek it from somewhere else. I am in a somewhat desperate position and losing hope fast. I try to check on you every day because I am genuinely concerned about you. I know that sometimes we are about helping everybody, but when we turn around, there is no one to help us. I could be wrong for assuming that and being a bother to you, but I am very sorry for being a bother. But I am just looking for some hope somewhere. If you are serious about helping me get set up, you can send a text or email. If not, you could let me know to stop bothering you, and I can do that also. Thanks for the courtesy you have already extended towards me. I will await your reply. If you gave someone $36,000 on April 20th, on April 5th, you can't find them, don't you think at some point you'd have mentioned, I give you my money, why you disappear? That's just common sense. She's saying that she had a conversation with me, and then she couldn't get me anymore. But in court, she produced a document saying that I signed this document with her on the 4th of May. I'm going to show you that. On the 4th of May. You can see the two emails showing that it's impossible for me to have met with her on the 4th of May. All of this was ignored by the courts. That nothing made sense. Just give me a sec. Let me go and look for the document with the judgment. Just give me a sec. I gotta go look for it. Oh, yeah. Okay, none of them. The wrong way. What's this? Okay, this is the judgment, and I'm going here because this is where the documents are, all right? So I want you to see this, all right? So I saw lawyer, Yvette Byfram, Donald Sanders, etc. Was my lawyer. This is the judgment that the lady did. So the plaintiff claimed a breach of two agreements for the first alleged written agreement dated April 20th. So the first alleged agreement was April 20th. So if we made an agreement on April 20th and you couldn't find me by on May 3rd, you're emailing me and saying you can't find me, at some point in that email you would have mentioned that. You actually said that you wanted to get something started. Not that you paid your money or anything like that. You mentioned that we ain't do nothing yet and you want to do something. So how could we have had an agreement on April 20th? If I'm wrong, then judge me, crucify me. It said in a second, more detailed written agreement executed on April 23rd. So the same agreement written twice. All right? The first defendant and a third agreement on the 4th of May. Do you see that? It said the third agreement on the 4th of May, 2010. How could we have signed an agreement on the 4th of May when you couldn't even find me? And so the court ignored all of this. The court, those emails were presented to the court. All right? And it said, okay, so these are what they are. And they said that I am the president of the company and I operated, et cetera. The company was really operated by other persons. I was in law school, okay? Famously, everyone knows I was in law school in England. All right, and they said the plaintiff gave me a sum of $40,000, et cetera, and said that I agreed to a 10% increase per annum, and in the end, she was supposed to get $53,000 or $54,000, something like that. All right. So I'm showing you this, and so you can go and crucify me after this if you want to. You go vote for your PLP and FNM. Good luck with that. And so she gave a judgment, even though it said, the agreement said that they're supposed to get, in the end, 50-something thousand. In the end, she did a judgment for $64,000, which even up to the Privy Council, it's like that number makes no sense because it doesn't add up. 40,000, even if you get 10% per annum, it won't take you to 64,000. It'll take you to 53 or 54,000. All right. So that's why we challenged that up to the very end, because it's like they just pull this stuff out of the air. All right, I want to take you to the actual document that we allegedly signed. That's this. I want you to look at this. What was said was that on the 20th, that she gave me a check, I think it was a manager's check, written out in her name, I can show you the document for that, written out to her, and she gave that document to me for me to go and deposit on my account. she was told in court that that's impossible. But not just that. This is the agreement she said we made on that date. Now, if you're a banker, you're going to give, this is the whole agreement. This isn't a clipping of it. This is the whole thing. You're going to give someone $36,000 on this little paragraph. I wouldn't take $36,000 with this paragraph because I need to know what the real terms are. This looked like something that was thrown together. Who would? Joe Blow off the street wouldn't give someone $36,000 and this would they sign. Her thing was that she took $40,000 from the Teachers Credit Union, a safe investment, to give to me, a stranger that she just met on April 14th, out the blue, just to give to me. And all we signed was this, allegedly. This was shown to the courts. And somehow they ignored the impossibility of, one, you cannot give someone a check written out to you for $36,000 and you go deposit that, and someone else goes deposit that on their account. That's impossible. So the way she said the money was given was impossible. And that's where the other problem came in. The court ignored that and never mentioned that in the judgment. You can come to whatever decision you want. Lincoln is a bad guy, but I'm showing you the facts. There's people who was on death row, serving life in prison 30 years, and were wrongly convicted. I believe I was wrongly convicted on this. That don't mean I'm paying. I'm paying. But I just want you to see the real deal. And so this document says, this is to certify that I, Zinnia Rule, has turned over in trust to Lincoln Bain $40,000. This sum is to be held by him for 3 years and returned to me with 10% interest calculated yearly. The total to be calculated at maturity is $53,240. So the 10% is supposed to take it to $53,000, not $64,000. And they just plug $64,000 in there with no explanation and say just pay $64,000. It makes no sense. Inclusive of interest. So that includes interest. The option is also available for the funds to be invested in shares of a business in which Mr. Bain is a controlling interest. This agreement matures on January 20th, 2013. At maturity, I have the option to continue, etc. Said she gave $36,000 now, and the balance was $3,600. All right? And this was my signature, which I said is not my signature. All right? So if for some reason you believe that a banker is going to give someone, and this is the whole agreement, $36,000 on this, I have nothing to say. If you believe that someone could give someone a check written out to them from the Teachers Credit Union, a manager's check, if I'm correct, written out to Zinnia, and that she gave that to me, and I can show you that in the court information, to me, the deposit on my personal check, if you believe that, then Santa Claus is real. The Easter Bunny is real. The court saw all of that and chose to ignore it. The judge was Cheryl Grant Bethel, or Thompson, Cheryl Grant Thompson. Same judge with Chrissy Love's situation. I'm not implying anything by it. I'm just telling you who the judge is, to remind you. The same judge with the Shantytown situation. At first we couldn't break them down. Then when Bravedom got in, yeah, we could break it down. The judge was Cheryl Grant Thompson. You come to your own conclusion. Yeah, she was Bethel before. She was married to PLP MP Philip Bethel, but I think she's a Thompson now. And so this is signature from the agreement on the 23rd. So the same thing written twice. All right. But they say they write it a little better this time. All right. So, and the signature, my signature is different, and they have a signatory on here, but she never brought any witnesses to court and never produced original documents of this. And the court don't take copies. She presented copies. This is what she said was a copy of the documents. And she never brought any of the witnesses who signed on anything. No evidence of nothing. The court ignored that fact. And we held them to strict proof in law. You accuse, you must prove. But she didn't have to prove anything other than she stood up there and say, this is what I say it is. She didn't bring evidence of anything. This was a copy, and copies are not admissible. This was also a copy. And so again, you see the dates on them. And if you go back to the emails, clearly she's saying that she wanted to move forward with something. So clearly, this couldn't have happened. All right? This is probably something just was backdated. All right? And then the judge, the honorable judge said, Mr. Lincoln been accepted before my court that he was paid the $40,000 by the plaintiff. However, he distinguished this evidence and stated that the monies were paid in order to purchase the kids' shoe department store from Bonnie Shoe Warehouse Limited. He indicated that he would have produced this agreement. However, the same was destroyed in the fire. So both parties agreed to $40,000 was paid. The discrepancy is for which purpose the money is paid. I never agreed that the money was paid. I still don't know if the money was paid to this day. All right? And initially, in the same document, it said that I denied receiving the money. In all of my testimony, I denied receiving the money. But she said that, because that could override everything, that I accepted that this amount of money was received. No. We stood on the fact that that was impossible. Now, if she had said she just gave me $36,000 cash, that's a different story. Then it would be my word against her. But she said she gave a check, I think it was a manager's check, to me. It was written out to her, and I was supposed to deposit that. That couldn't happen. All right? And so they, went on and on in this document. They started talking about the signature. They were saying that the signature, he didn't get the signature right. Remember, by the time as he was doing that was 7 years later. I used to travel a lot, so staff in my business would have been able to, do signatures. The same way they do it in other businesses. The commissioner of police have a stamp. Other people, they just put the signature or whatever, but they learned to do my signature, I guess. But that was 7 years later, and unbeknownst to the gentleman, he had already started getting the effects of brain cancer, and so he was not able to write good at all by that time, not just a signature. And he's unable to write now, today. All right? I'll take it straight down. This is the judgment. And so you saw the dates on them. And so she said she just is going to believe what the plaintiff had to say and was not going to believe what we had to say. She had a check that was written out by me, and as you can clearly see, the signature on the check is totally different. Look at this area here from the other signatures. If you look at this section, the signature on this check is different. All right? I won't scroll back and forth, but the signature is different with my signature on the check than on those documents. All right? So let me just continue. I just want you to see these documents. And this was the main thing, and this is why my lawyer, said he wasn't pushing hard because they haven't proved their case. All right? And so they did the judgment here and said that I have to pay the $64,000. All right? And so that's how we ended there. There's a lot of inconsistencies in this judgment. I won't go through them at this time. But I'll show you this again. Agreement, April 20th. All right. Look at the signature. Again, you can see it's different than the previous one. There's like a C here or something. And look at this. This is even different from the other one. And there's like an M in the back there. And anyway, we won't go through that. But I'll take you back to the email. Where is that? Is that right? Oh, yeah, that's it. Take you back to the email. And as you can see in the email, April 14th, we met. So you're telling me days later, you get a check from the credit union. I don't even think you could get a check from the credit union that fast. But days later, in those days, you got a check from the credit union written out to you, and you gave that to a total stranger you were just meeting. On the 3rd, I'll read that again for you. Make sure you can see the date. That's the date right on the side here. May 3rd, May 3rd, 2010. All right? She emailed me and said, I understand that you are busy at this time trying to get your show on the road. I need some time with you to see how I can start moving forward with something. Feeling like I am continuing to go in the circle, etc. It's unproductive feeling. So clearly, this couldn't have been someone who you had just signed this deal with and given money to. And what they do is they twist stories to make you the bad guy. I'll show you some more documents. Some more emails, sorry. That same one on the 5th. I'm going to go to May 17th. So because she couldn't catch up with me, she emailed me again and said, could you email me the list of suppliers or give me an appointment time that we can finalize this process, please? I am ready to get started with the handbags, or a quick response to this matter would be greatly appreciated. She started talking about handbags, all right? But she ended up not able to do the handbags because Mitzi was doing that. So she couldn't get me, so I'll show you what she did, all right? She was originally talking about handbags. So she sent an email. You see, it was to Bonnie Shoe Warehouse, not me. She sent an email to Bonnie Shoe Warehouse. She CC'd me in it, which I didn't see. But she CC'd me in it, and she started talking to the women who were actually running the business at the time, telling them the sad story, and they agreed to work with her. All right? Let me open this up for you. This is what she wrote to them. Can I see this better? Okay. This is what she wrote to them. It says, to whom it may concern, my name is Zinnia Roll. I had a meeting with Mr. Bain where I was verbally awarded the opportunity to utilize the space in Bonnie Shoe Warehouse in which I can provide for sale low-end handbags. Hold on. She said she made an agreement on May 4th and that I signed. She said that she had an agreement with me on April 20th and April 23rd in which I signed. But here, she couldn't catch up with me, so she went directly to them and told them she had some agreement with me. And said that she had a verbal agreement. The court saw this. This was presented to the courts, and they ignored it because they chose to. I feel because of who I am. I was entering politics by the time as this came up. So if you had an agreement on May 4th, how are you introducing yourself to the people in the store when you couldn't catch up with me and you were saying you had a verbal agreement? I'll continue. He said, she said he was awarded the opportunity I was verbally awarded an opportunity to utilize a space in Bonnie Shoe Warehouse in which I can provide for sale lower-end handbags through a sales agreement. During this conversation, I was further offered the opportunity to purchase these items under the business license of Bonnie Shoe Warehouse and utilize its shipping and receiving processes. So she was talking about getting the business, using our license, using our suppliers, using everything. Said, I need to understand this process, which is currently being used by the establishment, which would include a list of suppliers that currently hold a copy of the business license, contact information for the pickup and delivery service in the U.S., the customs broker, and the delivery service in the Bahamas. Further, I had an opportunity to browse the internet for some suppliers, B&B Handbags, which was a store of interest. If you are interested in viewing the inventory, you can access their Miami location via this website. My intended sales price range, etc. So she had a whole conversation with them. See, sincerely, Zinier Rule. About a verbal agreement, but in the court, and you see what the date on this? May 29th, 2010. Now, let me tell you how freaky this is. The date on this is May 29, 2010. That's the date on the letter. All right? Yeah, that's the same thing. May 29, that's when this letter was sent. Sorry. May 29, this letter was sent. But you said in the court that we had an agreement. And we produced this letter in the court. We showed the judge, Mom, how could I have signed an agreement with her on the 4th of May when on the 29th she's just introducing herself to them because she can't catch up with me? Again, you can come to whatever conclusion you want to come to. You can crucify me. You can call me all the names you want. This is the documentation. She later, this was an email that was sent to her by Bonnie Shoe Warehouse. There, Ms. Roll, below is the newsletter sent to Bonnie's 15,000 Shoe Club members. 15,000 women, 1 in every 5 women in the Bahamas was a member of Bonnie Shoe Warehouse. Not a customer, a member of Bonnie Shoe Warehouse. That's how successful the business was. 15,000 members. Almost every woman in this country bought shoes from there. But this is when we finally sent out the newsletter about the kids' shoes. Bonnie's, you could see the headlines. And so, without going into everything, all of this was shown, and more. I just don't have time to go into all of it. Nothing was adding up. Nothing was believable. No evidence was produced in the lower court. Copy documents. She had an original document of the May 4th agreement, but clearly that May 4th agreement was impossible. And the court just ignored it. And this ran for almost 5 years, or about 5 years, no decision. They just dragged it on and dragged it on. When I came up and said I want to run, all of a sudden, boom. Hold on, we need something on him. And this came out of the blue. And because it was before the courts, I couldn't really explain like how I'm explaining now, although I did do a show after it was finished, the Supreme Court, and showed this. But everyone didn't see that, so there's still questions out there. I have nothing to hide. Nothing. I'm a victim in this. You can choose to believe what you want. I chose to fight for the Bahamian people, so my business was attacked. The radio station where I did my show was attacked also. And my finances were attacked. If I'm such a bad guy, a bad businessman. How come you can't show any business where I owe the staff or NIB or electricity or any of these stuff? Businesses that I personally ran, which were many. I did business the right way and the proper way, with ingenuity. But I got political attacks every time I stood up for the people. Every separate case. When I did the Sea Hauler victims case, I got attacked. And I didn't go in the news talking about what they did to me. It wasn't about me. I could take a loss to save some people. They got $1 million. I paid for those persons' medical bills. I paid all of their legal fees. I gave their lawyer an office, free of charge, to be able to operate a full office. I don't mean just a room in someone's office, a full office with a front area, a foyer, everything. 2 offices, 2 office suites, just so he could handle that case. And in the end, I told him I don't want nothing from them. A couple of them put there a couple dollars for me. One fella, a Jamaican fella with one leg, brought $400 to my shoe store. Not this one, another one. And to say thanks. But they got $1 million. I didn't ask them for nothing. But that sounds like a crook. By the time they got their settlement, I was already in law school. I told them invest their money and keep it. So, ladies and gentlemen, they're trying to paint me as the big bad wolf with this matter. I only showed you a sampling. There's much more. I don't have the time. But I think all of you would have done the same thing I did. I challenged it. Is there anyone who would not have challenged this? Anyone? And so all of a sudden, there was a decision in 2017, I think it was, 2021 when I was going to run. There was a decision, 2021, that came down in social media. I said it because me and my lawyer were not called to a hearing on nothing. We just heard in social media that there was some judgment against me. And that the media started calling me, what do you think about this judgment? You're supposed to be a politician and you need to step down because there's a judgment against you. And I'm like, judgment? Judgment for what? This case was old and it disappeared because we said, listen, bring the check. If a check was written to me, bring it. But all of that, and they never brought that check. They brought a check for $3,600, but not that check for $36,000. They never brought that check because if they'd brought that check, you would have seen that it couldn't have been me. It wasn't me. It's impossible for me to have cashed a check like that. But that's because the check didn't exist. So what do you want me to do? Not challenge this? I wouldn't just take this to the Privy Council. I'd take this to heaven. And many people who have touched this case is gone. And so a judgment was brought down against me. That's the judgment you saw. And then strangely, like over a month later, the same judge came back and did something different, something even more strange. Let me see if I can find that. Something strange. She did an addendum to the judgment to say that, oh God, I gotta find it. Oh, it should be up here somewhere. Judgment. All right, this is an addendum to the judgment. This is the addendum to the judgment. So the judgment came down in December 2021, right? And after the judgment, she went back on, when is this? In January sometime, right? And did an addendum. Look what the addendum says. On the 6th December 2021, by ruling of the court, summary judgment was granted to the plaintiff and the first defendant ordered to pay the value of her filed claim. First defendant is me. Of her filed claim in the amount of $64,000. she didn't file a claim for $64,000. Not that I remember. So I think that document had 53,000, if y'all remember, right? So I don't remember it being 64. But anyway, it says held. That means a decision. The first defendant ordered to pay to the plaintiff the sum of $64,000. Right? Remember, this is already a judgment. Why are you doing this? And then it says, my order is that the first defendant, Mr. Lincoln, may pay the sum of $64,000 within a period of 90 days from the date of the judgment that is on order before the 28th of February. So this is on January 12th, and they're telling me by the 28th of February to pay the $64,000. It's 2022. The $64,000 says, in default of such payment, the first defendant is sentenced to 90 days imprisonment at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services. Now, you know what's so strange about this is that in order for a court to make any decision, they have to be asked by the plaintiff. The plaintiff has to go and say, okay, the person didn't pay me, go and do this. They have to get a judgment order, even in magistrate court. The judge did this totally on her own. The plaintiff didn't ask her to do this. And so she was scolded by the Court of Appeal for this. It's like they didn't know what this is. Like, this should not happen. They said they threw this out completely. That's why I won a part of the case, and the lady won a part of the case. And so it's like, how could this happen? It just made me feel, and it's just my opinion, all right? I'm not trying to attack the judge in any way, that there was something else behind this. There was some other invisible hand behind this. That's how I feel. Because why would you just go and do this? Seeing all that you already saw, nothing adds up, nothing lines up. It seems like a witch hunt against me. Remember, election was 2021. The court is still not in possession of all the transcripts. So all of a sudden, the transcripts disappeared. All right? Most of them. The transcripts that were incriminating say in possession of the transcript for this matter. However, all of the evidence submitted, whether through written submissions or given from the witness box, is still very fresh in my mind. She called her old lady. A 30-something-year-old lady, they call her old lady, and it's fresh in their mind. They was mixing up a lot of the stuff in there. In the judgment, if I go back to that, there's no way this is fresh in your mind. And I have carefully reviewed the relevant material. The failure to not have all the transcripts in a timely manner has resulted in the court delivering the ruling on the 6th December 2021. I have, however, benefited from my personal notes that have been recorded at all of the court sittings in this matter and have used those notes to complete my final judgment. Cost to be taxed if not agreed. That's by Cheryl Grant Thompson. Again, I'm not trying to disparage the judge in any way. I'm just, because I'm a public figure, showing them this public document and letting them know what happened, what's going on. And they can come to their own conclusion. I'm not saying judge is good or bad or did right or wrong. Just raw information. All right? And so y'all can come to y'all determination, but this whole thing came up when I decided to run for office. How is this from 2010? This didn't come up all these years. No demand letter, nothing. And we have transcripts saying she was never asked for nothing. And only when I decided to run, this came up. Lanisha Roll wanted the Pinewood Gardens seat. That's the lawyer. And I was popular at the time in the F&M with the Pinewood Gardens Association, etc. And Minnis wanted to give it to her, but he told her it could cause a problem because Lincoln is there and he's strong. Y'all got to figure that out. Lanisha Roll, then got Zinnia Roll, I believe, to do this. So I believe. Because if you was owed money, why you didn't show up till all them years later? Tell someone was about to run. That's my opinion. Ramona Farquharson also at the time wanted to run in Pinewood. And so Lanisha made her feel like, yeah, let's get Lincoln, we get rid of him. And because ministers don't want him anyway. But we ain't got nothing on him. So let's do this case for Zinnia Roll, and then we'll have something on him. And so Ramona Farquharson was Zinnia Roll's lawyer. Now, when the situation came up where Lanisha Roll met with me, I was warned by I never call my name. I was warned by a senior F&M that, they plotting. And to be careful when she called me for this meeting. I decided to record her. Anyone should safeguard themselves in that situation. I met with her, I recorded her, and then it went public. I didn't share the recording at all. All right? Some F&M leaders who was against me shared it. And the paper said they asked me for the recording. I never gave it to them. I never made that recording public. All right? But when Ramona heard that Lanisha was actually trying to get Pinewood, she realized Lanisha was using her. And so Ramona dropped the case. You see? This whole thing, in my opinion, was political from the break. And when she dropped the case, then it went dead for a little bit, and then someone else picked it up, and then this other lawyer, Pi from them, picked it up. All right? A lot of strange things happen with this, Bahamas. I always tried to help entrepreneurs, not to hurt them. I always tried to help Bahamians, not to hurt them. I've always been giving of myself and sacrificing. I've always been open and accountable, and my life has always been an open book and under the lights. And so you can make your determination as you want, and you can crucify me and say, pay the woman, you can call me a thief. There's nothing in this document where anyone was accused of stealing anything. It's, I made an investment, I won't get paid. Well, this could be the biggest investment payoff in history, because the amount of her money has more than doubled what she's going to get. Good investment. But I wanted persons to know that even though I was vilified, every political season, they vilify me with the same case. And then I show the facts, and the few people who see it, and they're like, okay, yeah, we understand. And then they try to, when people forget and they forget the details, they bring it back up. And you have to keep going through the same process over and over. There's more I could say about this case, but I want to open the phone lines. And since the PLP decided to attack me with this, I'm going to, after I open the phone lines, it's my turn. We could talk with Brave. And you could see what stealing is. So the phone lines are open, 803-5995. And if anyone here tell me the F&M trolls was attacking me too, then I got files with Pintard too. But this ain't Pintard Day. The PLP trolls attacked me. The PLP is using this against me because they're threatened. I want people to understand something very carefully. Normally, governments like when there are third parties. because they believe if people get discouraged with the government, they go to the opposition. But if it's a third party, then the third party can take some of the vote and that helps government. That's normally how governments like it. But I want you to notice that the government is so threatened by the COI that they're attacking us. That's not political science. Governments normally help third parties. But they're attacking us. They're attacking me because they're afraid. Because their polls are saying that we are winning. And they're afraid of me getting in that House of Assembly to hold them accountable. The phone line is open. Before I get to Brave, and that could be hot, the phone line is open. Let's go to the phone lines. Call you live. Go ahead.
Hey, Lincoln.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good.
You know what this is, right?
No.
This Poppy.
Oh, hey, Poppy. What's up? The Poppy is a PLP troll. Go ahead.
No, don't say I no PLP troll. Y'all is the troll. You and your supporters is the troll. But see,
Go ahead.
I ain't call you for all of that. But Lincoln, let's be real. You owe this woman money for 16 plus years. Now, you don't think it was time for you to pay that woman if the court ruled in her favor? Why wait so long? Why wait so long to just,
I know.
You could have paid this woman her money long time, sir.
Okay. Let me do this for you one more time, Poppy. All right, you can stay on the line. I didn't owe her for 16 years. The deal started in 2010. It wasn't supposed to finish in 2010. All right, that's the first thing. When the court made the decision, my lawyer and her lawyer started negotiating over how much the final price would be, Poppy. Okay? I initiated that right away. And we were trying to be aggressive with them to get this matter resolved. We feel, and we could be wrong, but we feel like it was being stalled to wait to bring this up during the election time. All right? And so that's what we feel. Poppy just said that's not true. Yeah, that's our opinion. You have anything you want to contribute?
Hey, the court then ruled 3 times. The magistrate court and the Supreme Court and the boys them in London. The Privy Council.
No, there's not a magistrate court matter. The Privy Council did not rule on this matter. They said they were not hearing the case. They would not take it. Thanks for your call, man. All right, anyone sensible want to call, I allow them to speak. And I tried to address it, all right? So they could go out there and scream. Some of them, he is a paid troll by the PLP. So no matter what I say, they're going to put their spin out there. But the sensible Bahamians who saw the documentation, and I'm saying, I'm going to pay, even though you saw what you saw. Even though I'm a victim in this, I'm going to pay. And the Lord will have his way. There's other persons who touched us, and they're not here. That's up to God. Call you live, go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Bean. Stephen
evening.
McQueen, candidate for Nassau Village. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
I appreciate so very much your detailed explanation and your documentation of this matter. It is disturbing that people would think that because a judgment is made, you just go ahead and settle. There is a legal process that each person is entitled to pursue. And people should understand that. And the system is, in this case, working whether the judgment was the right one. From what you have explained, it is my opinion that it was not the right judgment, that particular judgment should not have been made. But I'm more concerned that people need to understand that there is a process to be followed. And you and anyone else is entitled by law to challenge a judgment or what is happening based on the available process. And that is what you have done. That is what you are doing. And because a matter went to the Privy Council, based on what you have described, the Privy Council did not make a decision. They didn't even take the case. Therefore, there was no ruling by the Privy Council
Yes.
against you. And so, having referred it back to the courts in the Bahamas, it meant then that the last ruling in the Bahamas was what stands.
Yes.
And my understanding, you have been saying, show proof of life. It's not a refusal to pay. Anyone would want to make sure that if they're paying a judgment, it's going to who it should be going to. Otherwise, that's a whole different matter. And so I would encourage Bahamians to get it out of their head that because a decision was made, you just automatically pay. That is not how the system works. Otherwise, it would be railroading your lawful rights. And people need to understand that. That's my contribution tonight.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, phone line is going off. Hold the line, caller. Show them my screen again. I just want to show them one more thing. This is the court documents. This is court documents. Can they see my screen yet? Okay. And so here it says, the first defendant denied he ever got a check from the plaintiff personally, contrary to what was alleged in evidence on the 23rd July 2017 at line whatever of the transcript. It says, when the plaintiff, that means her, was questioned about the check being cleared by the bank, she admits that the check was in her name, but says that she was told to endorse the back of the check with her signature before allowing the first defending me to deposit the same to his account. In what world? You don't have to just show that someone signed the agreement. You have to show that the money was paid. I wish there's so much more in here. I wanted to show you even stuff from the Court of Appeal, but I'm gonna leave that there. I think I've showed enough. Yeah, you can take the screen off. Let's go to this caller. Caller, you live.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I've been watching the live. I've been following. I just got one question looking through these court documents.
Yes.
Keno Simonet, from what I understand, he's the person that forged the signature on these documents, but you never took any legal action against him. Why is that?
Great question. The police does the same thing, and I'm a former police. Why would I take legal action against my one witness? The person who could clear me of this. There's no reason for me to take legal action against him when he decided to come and testify and put himself. If you look in the judgment, it says that he could have gotten a minimum of 5 years in jail for this. All right? There's no one, I don't have a brother who could do 5 years in jail for me. All right? And so he risks, because he felt guilty, he risks doing it. And he just came forward and said he felt guilty. All of that is in the court documents. He didn't want me to be punished because he made a slack decision, all right, and did that with her. He didn't think he was doing nothing wrong. She just was trying to say she didn't have no documents to prove that she had anything, and she wanted to get insurance. And she said that to him, and he said, okay, I'll do it. And so the reason I didn't do that is because that's my witness. I could scare him off and then he don't come to court? Come on.
I mean, yeah, but he still have to come to court regardless, right? I mean,
Yeah, he came to, no. He could keep his mouth shut. If you make it a criminal case, he has a right to remain silent. He don't have to say nothing.
Scot-free for forging your, does he still, do business with you or,
Not at this time. But that was my witness, and that was all I had at the time. And so I brought him before the court. The law does that. They'll find witnesses and they turn crown on the other person. And sometimes they get a lighter sentence and sometimes they get no sentence. All right? That's in criminal cases. But in this case, you think that if I tell him, listen, I need you to come testify for me, but you go into jail because I got file a complaint.
I mean, he felt guilty enough to come forward and...
Yeah, so why lock him up?
No, No, but I'm saying, like, regardless, like, you can still hold him accountable for that, but it sounds like you just, like, let him go. But besides that, like,
Because
okay,
he decided to take the risk of coming to do it. That was just my decision.
okay, then
Let
that's
me let
fine.
me let me
No,
tell you about my let me tell you about my character. I don't hold things against people. For a long time, every year on my birthday, I forgive everyone who owe me money. There's people who've wronged me that I just forgive. There's people who've gone on TV and said bad things about me, and I come and show them love. And I did the same thing with him. I don't take people to court. I have never sued anyone in the Bahamas. All right? I don't. I forgive. That's what I do. I've been doing that for a long time. And if you think very carefully, there's a lot of people who have wronged me. Every day you wake up, you hear people telling lies out there on me. Lincoln do this, Lincoln do that. They make up stories about me. And you know what? I leave it. My people come to me and say, Lincoln, you got them. We could get rid of these trolls. I said, I'm not doing that. God will handle that.
okay, then. So there's, like,
That's my
another
character.
question. That's fine. There's another question I had.
Of course. And that was a good question, by the way.
Thank you. You mentioned another thing. You said that that witness was the only one that you had. Was the only thing that you had at the time. Or was that because your documents were burned down? Were burnt in the
Yeah,
fire?
and it says it in the court documents, and that's what they took advantage of. I couldn't bring anything because the office, everything burned up in the office. All the money burned up in the safe.
Okay. The money burnt up in the safe.
Yeah, money burnt up in the safe. Everything burnt.
Okay, so you kept all those things inside that. Well, I'm not familiar with the shoe store, what the layout is.
Yeah, there was an office inside. It was an open layout, but there was an office there, and stuff was kept in the office.
And you kept all those legal documents, agreements. Was there anything like specifically?
Yeah, there was nowhere else to keep them.
But you were in law school at the time, out of the country.
Yes.
So, but you kept those legal documents inside an office.
I wasn't really the person running the business, you know. Other persons were running it. I was the major shareholder. I'm good at marketing. That's what I was always good at. And so I would come and give advice for that. And yeah, I was the president. So I had influence, but I wasn't running the day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Then.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Good questions. 803-5995. I am open to the public. You have your chance. And again, I saw one paid PLP troll called. If there's any PLP F&M troll who has any information negative about me, this is your chance to expose me. Say what you have to say. If you know anyone I owe or anything, hold the line, call you next. I made a declaration at the by-election that I owe no one. And so if I do, they got me. But they could have had me. But this is your chance, all right? Come forward. And I hope that you call on all your politicians to be accountable to the people just like this, to be open and transparent. It's my personal life. It's a personal business transaction. It's in nobody business. When Bahama got their settlement, they say, okay, that's it, secret. They ain't telling no one what the settlement is. That's their business. No one asks, okay, where the money? Did you pay the money? Why are you taking so long to pay? They just said, okay, we made a settlement, that's it. See y'all later. Let's go to phone lines. Call you live.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Bain.
Good evening.
Man, Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can see you were done wrong. I don't know how the judge could come to the conclusion and dismiss all of the evidence, the facts that you showed on the screen tonight. I mean, it's clear as day that you were wrong. And the public, if they choose to continue to believe a lie, it's on them. You understand? Because you presented all the facts tonight. And the Bahamian public had to wise it up and not be used by these persons who want to continue to keep power.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you,
so you be encouraged and continue pressing forward because there's a country we have to save and the people who want to go forward, upward, onward together.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night, sir.
Thank you. Good night. All right, Brave Davis, you next. 803-5995. The line is open. While the line is open, I'll start the conversation with Philip Brave Davis. Since the PLPs want to call me, since they're trolls, want to have all this to say about me, yeah, if I did what they say I did, That would have been wrong. But it don't go like that. But let me show you what Brave did. Let me go to the lines first. Caller, you live. Go ahead. Good day.
Mr. Bean,
Yes.
let me tell you something. You are truly a man of God. It is what is so bad about this whole situation is that people cannot believe that they have men and women in this world of integrity. The fact that you could stand up and say what you have to say right here, right now, they don't believe what you're saying. It's just like Sodom and Gomorrah when God told Abraham, if you can find one righteous man, I will save this nation. One righteous man. And because you stand for righteousness right now, it's hard for people to believe that there is some truth in what you're saying. I want you to continue to stay the course. Continue to stand up and be a man of valor. Continue to stand up and be a man of integrity. I hear you. I feel you. But the people, they're listening with the wrong ear. So thank you for standing up. Thank you for, I wouldn't say appealing to the public, but thank you for letting the public know who you are. And like I said, you are truly a man of God. Don't be like Gideon, but you're truly a man of valor. Thank you, Mr. Baines. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for all that you're doing for the Bahamian people. Thank you. That's my donation. God bless you.
Again, the activism life is hard. In this country, many of you know why you don't come out to protest, why you don't want to speak out because you may lose your job, etc. If you see the level of activism I've been doing, I come out like a lion, and I fight for others, not for myself. I've never fought for myself. You've never seen me out there fighting for myself for what they're doing to me. You'll think they ain't doing nothing to me. I never, hold the line, call you next. I've never fought for myself. I've only been fighting for other people. I don't bring up no issues with me. I don't say they doing this to me, they doing that to me. Never. I always fight for others. And when you do that, they'll destroy your business. They'll make sure you don't get no contracts in this country. Make sure you can't get no jobs in this country. They will fight you. And then say, oh, look at him. Oh, he can't run a business. He can't do this and that. I sacrifice everything to be able to stand up for Bahamians. And what they do is try to find any dirt that they could twist and lie on you. Twist the truth. Call a woman, an old woman. She is 2 years older than me. Born October 28, 1974. That's when she born. 2 years older than me. Almost to the day. I born on the 26th of October. And they try to make it look like, oh, this woman, he abused this woman and all that money for so long. And they will continue to vilify me. They just getting started. They are fighting for their money. They know that I'm a threat. And the threat I am is not because of me, It ain't because I could be empowered, It's because my conversation is about empowering you. That's why I am a threat. I am talking about empowering you. If I was talking about empowering myself, they'd ignore me. They'd try to get me on their side and say, well, come with us, man. We'll work it out. You just stay and get in line. But they are afraid of you being empowered. Let's go to phone lines. Caller, you live.
Hello.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Mr. Bean. How you doing? This is I'm calling from Palm Beach.
Okay.
Listen, I want to say this to the troll out there. They need to focus on what's going on in the country now. And remember, Brave Davis. Yes, Brave Davis. He owes Steve McKinney, Leslie Miller, all light place. I forgot the name of it because I've been over here so long, and so on and so forth. They need to remember all of those people who they owe instead of focusing on who you owe. That's exactly what I want to remind the folks, because I think they forget very easily. All the mess going on in the Bahamas, they worrying about who you owe. And you explain it to them, and they still playing crazy like they don't understand.
Well,
something have to change, and that's why they're afraid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. All right. Show them my screen. It's time to talk about Brave. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Miami Herald. All right? And this is a shot over the bow tonight, you know. And then I can release some serious files if they come for me. I can see what the trolls say tonight. And then I can release some serious stuff. But it's time to talk about where this country really is. So since the PLP trolls came for me, we ain't talking about the F&M tonight. We're talking about the PLP. You can't defeat a man who is willing to die for his cause. You can't beat him. You can't defeat a man who has nothing to lose. There was a Cuban woman called Kenya Batista Mur, who was married to someone in the Bahamas, who was a resident in the Bahamas. He was German, and he spent the last years of his life here. Brave was his lawyer. Brave liked to deal with criminals and old people. And Brave was his lawyer. The man died and left about $10 million. The woman says she got $70 million out of that. Sorry, 70,000 out of that. Sorry. Out of 10 million, she got 70,000 out of that. So I was reading and talking. 70,000. That's correct. 70,000. Let's read, Bahamas. Since the PLPs want to use their court system and everything else to their advantage, use their police to their advantage, use the people under their thumb to their advantage to attack persons who would dare stand up for the Bahamian people. Let's look at the facts. This is Miami Herald, 2014. Kenya Batista Mur says she had a happy life with her husband, with her German husband, who took the Cuban woman to live with him in the Bahamas, out of Cuba, but not too far, she said. Then he died, leaving her an estate estimated at roughly $10 million. But 3.5 years after his death, someone say pay the woman. 3.5 years after his death, Batista claims she has received only about $70,000 in cash. Her lawyer is trying to figure out where the rest of the money is and why the couple's house in a neighborhood of 2 to 3 million homes sold for only $200,000. Let's continue. Legal documents show that the executor of Colratz, that's the husband, of his will was also the president of the company that bought the house. So the executor benefiting from what he's supposed to be distributing to the next of kin. It says, and it was the Bahamas Deputy Prime Minister, Philip Brave Davis. So, Brave of a company, he let his company buy the house for $200,000 when it should be worth $2 to $3 million, and give the woman $30,000. And then she, over these years, she got 70. Mr. Davis' position is that he has done nothing wrong, said Philip McKinsey, an attorney with Davis Law Firm in Nassau, Davis & Co. Philip McKinsey is now one of Davis's trolls. I think he's at NIB. Batista's case has generated a thick file of legal documents and letters between 3 lawyers, as well as complaints to the Bahamas Bar Association and even to the Queen of England, who is the official head of state of the former British colony. But complaining about this is like complaining to a Cuban policeman about Raul Castro, said William Nelson, 56, a Bahamas high school teacher who is helping Batista because she is from the same Cuban town as his wife. Batista said she met Kohlratz in 2005, that's her husband, when she was 25 and a waitress at El Chever, a Cuban club known for its classes. Sorry, there's a lot of lights in front of me, so it's hard for me to see. He was 75 and taking lessons. Born in Germany, he made a fortune in mining and lived in Freeport, Bahamas. She went to live with him in 2006 and settled into the 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom home. And Brave sell that for $200,000 with a tennis court. $200,000 in the expensive Lucaya section. They had 2 Mercedes-Benz cars and a boat docked in the canal out back. They married in 2009. We got along very well. I was very happy, Batista told El Nueve Herald by phone from Las Tunas in Cuba. Nelson said Katz was possessive, not a lot of fun, talking about the husband. And this is the friend talking about the husband, not the wife. And that the marriage was a bit rocky. Batista said that's not true. Whatever their relationship, on May 26, 2010, Kohlratz signed a will naming Davis, his longtime attorney, as its executor. He bequeathed Davis $500,000 plus several plots of land that he said Davis had helped him to recover in a lengthy legal battle. So he gave Davis $500,000, but that wasn't enough. He gave him land, but that wasn't enough. The will specifically bequeathed to Batista the Freeport home and its contents, a bank account, and 2 safety deposit boxes in the Bahamas. But it added that he left all the rest, residue and remainder of my real and personal estate of whatever kind and whatsoever situated to my wife, Kenya Batista. So everything he left his wife, except for what he gave the Brave. Batista said Kohlratz had an apartment in Germany full of antiques and paintings, bank accounts, and in Hamburg, Frankfurt, a Swiss life insurance policy. He also was active in the stock market, had financial interests in South Africa and Panama. Nelson's estimated over it was $10 million. Kohlratz died of a heart attack less than 6 months after signing the will. On November 17, 2010, Batista said she was in Cuba on one of her trips home to maintain the validity of her Bahamas visa and her claim over her Cuban residence and returned quickly. Batista said she hired Freeport attorney Carlson Sherlin to represent her because she did not like Davis. It's a woman's intuition. She feels Davis was shady. Sherlin was present on March 17, 2011, when she signed 2 documents that she claims translator Adriana Alain described to her as accepting $30,000 cash advance from the estate. So Brave them, I guess, got interpreter, translator, to tell her, listen, this saying you're getting a $30,000 advance from the state, all right? Batista speaks little English. One document, however, recorded Batista's sale of the house to Schroeder Holdings for $200,000. So they tell her she getting a $30,000 advance. So she even get the $200,000. She get $30,000. All right? Even though it's saying she sold it for $200,000. So she got $30,000 and the thing valued $2 to $3 million. Davis is identified in the document as president of Shreda. Batista's current lawyer, Tiffany Dennison, said she has seen no evidence that Davis tried to sell the house to anyone else before it was sold to Shreda, his company. He was executor. He could have tried to sell the house and then give her the money, but no. In the other document, Batista sells the entirety of her interest in the estate. So give everything to Davis. Said the entirety of her interest in the estate to Davis for $200,000. Remember, she only got $30,000. El Nuevo Herald obtained copies of both documents. So they give her $30,000, but they have a document saying $200,000 for the house, $200,000 for everything else worth $10 million. That sounds more like thieving to me. Sherlin did not return El Nuevo Herald's messages and emails requesting an interview. Davis' government office said he is not allowed to comment on issues relating to his law practice and referred the newspaper to McKinsey. He said that if Batista has a complaint, she can take it up with the Bar Association or other authorities. Batista said that was like complaining to Cuban police about Castro. Batista said that Sherlin introduced her to Elaine, who translated at the March 17, 2017 signing. Sherlin has claimed that Elaine was Batista's friend. Elaine told El Nuevo that she would comment only in the presence of Sherlin and Batista. The widow also claimed Davis told her the cash advance she received on that day was necessary because the will was being contested by Cool Rat's son, that's the husband's son, from a previous marriage. Alexander Dennison said she has seen no evidence of such a challenge. Alexander could not be located, and his mother declined to comment. So it appears that Brave them tell her, okay, you got to sign this because that boy challenging it, so you got to, we got to do this. The boy ain't challenging nothing. That sound more like thieving to me. Batista said he returned to Cuba on April 8, 2011, while Sherlin worked to get her a new Bahamas visa. Her new visa arrived more than a year later. They practically block out the country. All right? When she finally was able to come back, strangers was living in the house. She went to the home of Nelson and his wife, and after some research, they figured out that the house had been sold to Davis. Batista estimated that she has so far received $60,000 to $70,000 and acknowledges that Sherlin has taken care of some other expenses. That's a lawyer, all right, on her behalf, including airplane tickets and shopping outings, groceries, etc. Dennison said she had asked Sherlin and McKinsey to for detailed accounts of inheritance, but has not received them. Nelson sent letters on behalf of Batista to the Bahamas Bar Association and Queen Elizabeth II because she's the head of state of the Bahamas. The Bar Association confirmed to Nelson that it had received his complaint dated the 5th of June 2012, but did not reply to El Nuevo Herald email requesting information on the standing of the case. Who is the thief? That's an international embarrassment by a deputy prime minister. I don't have nothing to lose. Y'all come. They could bring up some more stuff on me. They can make up some more stuff. But let me just tell y'all something, Bahamas. If they, after all these years of running, if they really had something on me, they would have done that long time. They didn't expose that long time. They keep harping on this little foolishness with this civil case that I've shown you, the facts. I want to... All right, take it off the screen. Anyway, let me just tell you, because we've been going a long time. There's also documents about the Weisfish brothers. I have all that documents from England, the company they had over there. Should I show them? I mean, Wayne Monroe was a partner in that that company in England. See, they work overseas. All right. The company in Britain for the Weisfish brothers, Wayne Monroe was a director, and guess who else was a director? Tommy Turnquest. These PLPs and F&Ms are working together. Let me see what's on here. All right, this from the documents, all right? SFP Metals UK Limited financial statements. This is their financial statements. It's public over there. No secrets over there. All right, if you look through this document, Mr. W, Director, Mr. W. Monroe, all right? And they have to give all of their information. Turnover, 0. These companies. And so I'm just scrolling through this. You could see this and go back to this later on your own. Let me see if I could pull up another one. I could hardly see my screen. I'm sorry. All right. So eventually, Wayne Monroe was terminated. I wonder why. Now, Wayne Monroe was the lawyer for the Weisfish brothers against Brave Davis. So he knows where the skeleton's buried. So in the Weisfish brothers case, where Brave is the first defendant, Wayne was the lawyer. But here you could see termination details, name, Wayne Monroe. All right? These fellas doing companies overseas that y'all can't see. All right? SVF Metals. I wanted to pull up the ones you could see. Tommy Turnquest. We can't seem to see it here. Same company. Company director, person, Orville, Alton, Thompson, Turnquest. That's Tommy Turnquest. On the same company, see? Bahamian, banker. See how these people work together? So y'all thinking the PLP and F&M is different. They working together on everything. Brave is also these people lawyer. Tommy Turnquest was a director. Wayne Monroe was a director. And Brave was holding on to people's money. I ain't gonna go through all that today. I can hold some of that. But he stole, well, I can't say he stole. And everything I'm saying is allegations tonight. But he took the company from them, and they were trying to get this company back. All right? Yeah. So just search the Weisfish brothers and Brave Davis. All this is right there for you to see. He actually, the Weisfish brother and his wife was trying to get their life at Key House back from Brave. I mean, I think y'all should see that one. Let me pull that up. Let me see what this is. Brave case. What's this? Brave case. Okay. Let me see if that's easily accessible. No, I'll have to go search for that. What's that? Yeah, I'll have to go search for it. I'll share that another time. Let me see what this is. Oh, that's the handshake. Okay, not that. Sorry, that was brave shaking someone on. That. Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, not that either. I'm trying to find the document. Okay, you said offer, eh? Okay, let me see if I can go get that. Give me one sec. I think y'all deserve to see it. Give me a sec. There. Let me see. Hey, you have that, man. Okay, yeah. Okay, I gotta send it to myself. All right, I want you all to see this article with the Whitefish brothers. It's the same MO, and so when the PLP decided to come back for me, y'all come strong, eh? Because y'all are the party that is taking our taxpayers' money and paying for Fred Mitchell's little boys, and I mean young men, traveling around the world. All right? Y'all are the party that's scandalous. So, all right, let me send that to myself. Coming to y'all right now. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Almost there. And I don't want y'all to think I'm getting distracted by doing this, but I think Bahamians really need to know what is really going on in their country. So just give me a sec. And I'll pull it up for you right now. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, here. Almost there. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. All right, so this is a claim for Life at Key Home. This is 2010 again. Having entered no defense to their legal action against him, Amir Weisfish and his wife, Monica, want the Supreme Court to declare Philip Brave Davis has no right to the title documents to Bacardi House. So he was holding on the documents for their house and holding on their house, their Life at Key Home. They also want the court to order that the title deeds to the home be turned over to lawyer Henry Bostwick, QC, and that the cost of the action be taxed and paid by Davis. Mr. Weisfish is also suing Mr. Davis for wrongfully claiming ownership of shares in an international metals company. Wrongfully claiming ownership of shares that the brother says he owns. And so, all right, you can take it off the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just a shot over the bow. There's a lot we could talk about if the PLP won't keep coming for me. Y'all want to focus on me with the election coming up? Or y'all want to get this country right? Because there's another house with a woman who was stabbed up 17 times. Y'all don't want me to bring that up. Who they tried to kill her for her house. She was a diplomat at the time of the Bahamas. Stabbed up 17 times. Y'all sure y'all won't come for me? Y'all are the real criminals. So call it what you want. I could sit here all day, but I know one thing. America watching y'all. Bahamas, the purpose for putting this thing out there on me was to get you to stop talking about the Epstein files, which is a very serious matter. The Epstein files, pay attention. Don't stop talking about that. But also to get you to look the other way while they are trying to steal the election. Because some politicians are going to get arrested if they don't win this election. And they fighting. I want you to put those voters' cards on the screen. Put those voters' cards on the screen. These voters' cards are going around on social media today, and persons are very distraught, and I'm going to send this to the Parliamentary Register for them to investigate. There's two young men, looks like both of them are underage. They're not young men, they look like boys. Both of them look like boys. And the voters' cards have the same number on them. And the boys are clearly underage. If that's the kind of nonsense going on in our country, we're in trouble. It's on the screen now. If that's what's happening, y'all get ready to fight, eh? Because we have to take this country. If that's what they planning to do, using a legal process, we might have to go to the law of the jungle. Because this ain't gonna work. What amount of nonsense is this? And so we need an answer to find out exactly what's going on here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave all and sundry, all of the PLP trolls, the FNM trolls, whoever they are, if they have something on me, just bring it. But let me tell you something, I'm fighting them. And they fighting for our carbon credit, so you can see them coming at me. All right? You can see them. They coming. They can find anything to throw on me to make me look scandalous. More court stuff, maybe more arrests. I hear there's a death threat on me. All right? That's from the politicians. They have a hit on me. Why? Because I want Bahamians to benefit? That's all we want? Bahamians to be first in this country, benefit from what's ours. You got a hit on me for that? Bahamas, a hit on me is a hit on all of us. I want you to know that. Because I'm not the threat, you are. But the problem is, my whole ambition is to empower you, and that's what they're afraid of. And so I'll take a couple more calls. 803-5995. 803-5995. And so we got to go through the process of dealing with this court thing. And we're going to do what we have to do what we can do. But I just wanted you to know the full truth behind it. And you come to your own conclusion. There's more I could have shown you that would have thrown this right off the water to you, but I just only have a certain amount of time. The case was garbage from the beginning. And it only comes up every time election comes around. Because they don't have nothing. 803-5995, that's the number. All right? So I'm waiting on the trolls. They're going quiet. Why are the trolls so quiet? Where are they? And y'all say it's all kind of things out there on me? Where it is? Okay, hopefully this is a troll. Good evening, you're live.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Bain. It was just an honor, and rightfully so, to sit and listen and watch you share and explain. And what I recognize tonight, even in the comments, that the Bahamian people were seeing the tears, that, hello?
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah, that the Bahamian people were seeing the tears of your heart. And the thing is, the Bahamian women in this country, they love you and they're talking about you all on the streets. It is the subject today all across this country, I believe, that they know that you are the one, that you are the chosen one. And the trolls know that their lips tonight is going to be sealed. It's going to be sealed. Because the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob have chosen you for such a time as this. You are the chosen one, the Bahamian son. Mr. Bain, thank you very much tonight for explaining and sharing what has happened over the years. The Bahamian people are totally, totally grateful. You be encouraged, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thanks.
Last thing I want to show you, you can show it on my screen again. Last thing. So, they put this thing in the papers with me because they said if I don't show up to court, they didn't say if I don't pay. If someone doesn't pay, you make them bankrupt. And yeah, if you're bankrupt, you can't run in the election. So that might be their ploy because they can't silence me and they feel they can't do nothing else. So that might be their ploy to try and bankrupt me. I hope that they could file for bankruptcy so I can't run in the election. That could be the strategy. Or to have me in jail while the election is going on, because once you are serving a prison sentence, you can't run. All right? It doesn't matter if you're hold the line, caller. It doesn't matter if you're a former convict, you can run, because remember, the PLP has a convict running right now. They have a convicted drug dealer, drug smuggler, Keno Wong, is running for St. Anne's. Did you all know that? He's a convicted drug smuggler. All right? He was arrested for that. And so, or should I say allegedly? No, I don't have to say that. Anyway, I said it. But Keno Wong did time. And that's who's running for the PLP. I mean, is this what kind of cartoon place this is? They got the drug dealer running for the PLP in St. Anne's. In no other country could that happen. In what world? The PLP got someone who's convicted of drug crimes running for the decent, respectable constituency of St. Anne's. Oh, God. Call, I come in right now. Just give me 1 sec. I want Bahamians to see this. Show it on my screen. Is there? Brave Davis, prison bound. Deputy Prime Minister Brave Davis, who made his mark by performing legal work for drug kingpins, could be headed to Fox Hill Prison if a billionaire metal trader gets his way. The Bahamas Supreme Court Justice allowed for an application by a billionaire metals trader for the committal to prison of Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis for alleged contempt of court. Right? This is the latest chapter in a bizarre, decade-long lawsuit between two billionaire Israeli brothers over money made when they operated. So, in any way, in the Weissfish brothers case, they said they would send him to jail. Brave. The court ordered that he could go to jail. That's for the PLPs out there. Let's go to phone lines. You can take it off screen. Caller, you live.
Well, good evening, Mr. Lincoln Bain.
Good evening.
You know, it's amazing. Well, first of all, what are the 4 disqualifiers to run? You can't be a foreign national. You can't be convicted of a crime, correct?
No, you can be a convict. You just can't be serving presently a prison sentence.
Serving time. You know, it's interesting that we don't bring the people we should bring. And every time you go live, you challenge people to call you. Whether they're a troll or a politician, I'm sure somebody would have called you by now to challenge you.
Yeah.
Why have they not called? It speaks volumes. It's deafening, actually. But I think you presented that really well tonight. And I hope that they don't push it to where we have to air and see all the dirty laundry exposed. I think this election, people should stop the attacking and run on their record.
Exactly.
What have they actually done in 53 years that's helped the masses? We know we've helped a couple little friends, family, lover, and pockets. What is one thing? Look at Lyndon Finland. He did national insurance. It helped the masses. And now that's being abused, in my opinion. What has been done under the last 20 years? I've voted the parties. I asked, the people who were campaigning in my area just last night. And I told the gentleman, I like you, but you picked the wrong party. I wouldn't call his name. And I asked him the same question. What has been done besides potholes? Because they did a good job with those. I got to be fair. But to help people benefit. And I tell you, there's nothing. And any politician could call you right now when I hang up and tell you what they did to help the masses. But anyway, well presented tonight, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, too. All right. God bless you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we could do tonight. And guess what? That was just a shot over the bow. Now, to Philip Brave Davis and the PLP, if y'all want me to spend the rest of this time until election exposing what y'all really been doing, the investigations that America has done, then let's go. You can't really hurt me. You throw me in jail and hurt me. You don't do that over and over. What you could do? Kill me? I get into my mansion in heaven. If God lets you do that. We are going to stand up and fight for this nation because this is all we got. We are not letting y'all sell this out. Y'all could bring all the court cases y'all want. Y'all can lock me up 1,000,000 times. Y'all could take all my guns. I good with a knife too. And I good with my fists, even better with my fists. Y'all could kick me, stomp me, drag me, or whatever you want. But y'all are not going to give this Bahamas away, not on my watch. Not while there is blood flowing through my brains, through my veins and my brains. Not while there's air in my lungs. We fighting for this. All I ask you to do, Bahamas, is fight. Y'all, let's fight. Let's don't give up. They got more they can attack me with. It could be more twisted truths and lies. There could be more attacks. The Tribune attack, the Guardian attack, all them carbon credits fellas coming. Remember them names, Anthony Ferguson, Manny Alexio and co. Remember them names. I just tell y'all that coming and they still just come. All right? Remember them names. Because this just a shot over the bow. Because next we could talk about the swimming pigs and what's going on over there. And Brave Davis family and the foreigners and what's happening. We could talk about plenty things. I got files where I could do a live every day for the rest of the year and still don't touch 1% of it. So I didn't do this to justify anything. I just wanted you to know the full truth, and I have a right to defend myself. I'm a victim in this. I've been attacked over and repeatedly for fighting for the Bahamian people. This whole case that we're talking about only came about because I was fighting for you. That's why we're talking about this. Not because I was a bad guy, because I was fighting for you. And since I stood up and fought, not one house could be broken down after that. Because I fought for them to this day. Whether they vote for me or not, I wasn't running for election when I did that. Didn't care. Didn't care too. All of this happened, this whole thing, because I was fighting for the Bahamian people. Now, y'all could judge me, but I really don't care. It doesn't move me when people clap. It moves me when God claps. That's whose approval I care about. I'm going to continue to fight for the Baby we believe. Some people say, you don't get tired fighting for these ungrateful people? I'm not doing it for that purpose. I'm doing it to be obedient to God, who wants something better for our people. And whether they want it or not, if he send me to fight for it, I'm going to fight, regardless of whether they appreciate it or not. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be getting more attacks in the coming weeks and months. I'm going to continue to be open. Your leaders for these other parties will not, but I will continue to be. Don't listen to rumors. They're going to make up stuff and share them to try to distort the truth. They're going to tell you Maria gone to the F&M, Dr. MacGyver quit and pull out. They're going to tell you all manner of things. Don't listen to these stuff. If there's something for you to know, you know I can tell you. I just tell you my own business. I open myself up. Now let's see which one of them could do that. See you next time. God bless you.